In this video we're going to look at specifically using the Dell Interwrite software to actually create some maths and English activities that you can incorporate into your lesson. You may want to set them up as a whole new set of pages, or you may create a page within another lesson that you've already created. For each of these I'm going to show you quickly how we actually use that page, and then I will show you how I created it. So for this first one, we've got a maths activity that's been incorporated into a hair session, and what you see here is we've got two numbers to add together. We've got an equal sign, and then we've got a blue box which is hiding the answer. So you'd pose the question to the class, maybe get them to write the answer on a mini whiteboard or something like that, and then when they've all had a go at working out the sum, you could drag away the box, and there we could see the answer and everyone could check if they had it correct or not. And I'm going to hide that one there. So let's create a new page and I'll show you how I created that. For this, there's only two tools I've used. I've used the shape tool and the text box tool. So firstly, we'll go into shapes. I want to check that I've got a rectangle and then it's filled, and then I can draw the rectangle. I'm going to draw 1, 2, and then 3. You can play around with these to get them a bit more accurate, a bit more tidy if you like. So there are the actual boxes, and now I'm going to use the text box to actually incorporate the sum I want to add in. I'm keeping them separate at first and then I'll line them up later. So the first amount we'll put as £45, another text box £40, and then another text box which will be the answer, which will be £85. So I'm going back to my select tool so I can drag things around. So got 45, 40 and 85. At the moment the sum doesn't actually tell us what to do with these, so I'll go back to my text box. I will want a plus sign for the first position. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger so that it stands out more, and then I'm going to put in the equal sign, make that one a little bit bigger as well. Right, back to my select tool, drag that there and that there, and then we have created a simple sum. Obviously at the moment that's not very useful because the answer's visible. We don't want it to be visible at first, otherwise we're not going to achieve anything. So although we talked about this in another one of the sessions, I'll explain. I'm going to select the rectangle. Now I'm moving it out of the way just to check it is indeed the rectangle I'm selecting, not the number. And then down the bottom here we have tools to do with shapes, and this one here is the order, and we'll click on that and we'll say bring to front, and now when I drag that over you'll see that the sum's actually hidden. It's not working terribly well here because I've got it a little bit transparent, which isn't really very helpful. Okay, so I've gone down to the tool here to set the transparency so you can't actually see through it, otherwise that would be giving the students a bit too much of a clue. So select away from there, and there we have, although I haven't got the wording around it to describe what to do, we have simple sum, and when the students have answered it we can drag the box out of the way so they can see the answer. This page can be duplicated so that you can change the maths each time. You could make it a little bit harder by adding in pence, maybe something like that, just to make things a bit more tricky, and therefore we'd adjust that. So you can reuse the same page over and over again to change your maths. I'm extending that box a little bit to hide it, now it's a longer number. And there we go. So you can create that page just using text boxes and shapes, and all you have to remember is that bringing the shape to the front will hide the number. Okay, so that was the first one. The second one was much easier to create. It's using the gallery of tools that come with the software. So I will create a new page to show you how to do this one. New page, go to the gallery of tools, go into the Interwrite Sims, which are the activities that have the sort of ready-made simulations in them. I'm going to Maths. Take a while for it to load. Okay, and that wasn't, they see there are loads in here, but what that one that I had on my previous page was the multiplication. It's a multiplication flashcard that we want, and there we have it already created. There's a box here which is empty, which you can either get the students to write in using the pen, or again use mini whiteboards or something. At first it's set up with one digit only, so they're fairly simple equations. So we've got here 4 times 5, which hopefully is 20. When the student's got the answer correct, you click on the little curtain and it shows you the correct answer. The arrow will give you another new question, but if I choose this selection at the top here, I can make things a lot more difficult. So we've got 3 places, so next time I ask for a new question, you'll see we've got much harder maths to actually calculate. So you can make this one as easy or as difficult as you want, but this one's using the ready-made activities in here, of which you can see there are very many. The next one I did was literally, yet again, let's go to the gallery, we're just in our way for a little bit at the moment. I've inserted media for the pictures here, just to make it look a bit more attractive. This one's about the use of there and there. And I've just used a text box with a sentence and a shape again to hide the key word. So in this case on Tuesday, the student should have worked out it was the THERE, so they drag that out of the way, and there we go, we've got the correct question. So I'll show you how to create this one. Firstly, a text box. Okay, I've typed the text. Let's make that a little bit longer, position it, so, and then the second sentence, oops, sorry, excuse my typing. Make that a little bit longer so it fits. Get my selection tool, and there you go. And then again we've got the shapes. Change this transparency so it's nice and solid this time, so we can't see it. Grab the shape. On the shape over that one, shape over that one to hide it. Again, if you found that this shape was going behind the text, you could still read it. The tools to go with this again is the order tool, so if you see the text, then bring the shape forward. Okay, and then all I did then was I wanted some media, So go to my libraries, pictures, and I had some little pictures in here. Let's find where I'd hidden those. Can't find those in a minute. I'll just grab any picture just for the moment, resize it, pop it there. But say the original pictures on the previous page, I could have copied those across if I wanted to, so I've just popped a picture in as well. And this way we can get the students to work out the correct answer, have a discussion, and then we could prove the answer afterwards. In this case, I've done almost the same thing, but instead of having the actual word in there, I've put an underline character, and in this case, the students could use the pen, perhaps, to actually create the right answer. I'm writing with my mouse, so excuse the bad writing. The students will write this much better. Okay, very poor writing. Don't do it with a mouse, it's not easy to do, but if you've got the pen, then the students could have a go at that, and if they got it wrong they could rub it out, etc., until they'd actually got the answer correct. So that's two different ways with exactly the same activities. One asking the students to write on it, and I won't show you this because it is actually the same as the previous one. This time we just haven't got the shapes. In this example, what I've done is I've taken a Word document that was opened that had lots of spelling mistakes in it, and I actually this was off of the BBC WebWise course, but you could have some work that one of the students might have actually done themselves, and literally I've just copied that Word document in, and the students can then use either the pen tool to draw around what's wrong, or they could use the pen to actually write the word incorrectly, or they can use the highlighter pen so that they can actually highlight words that aren't correct. So quite straightforward, but you could maybe have this displayed in class, pass the wireless mouse around the class and get each student to find a mistake and explain what is wrong with it. So this one, I'll show you how I created it. I'll make a blank page. And what I've actually got here is the Word document is open. I can now use the capture tool that we used in a previous video, partial, and then I should grab the part of that I want, and it's actually placed that in here. I can select that and make it larger if I want to, and then just as the previous one we can use either the pen to actually draw around the mistakes, highlighter to actually highlight the wrong words, or the pen you could actually use to create it. And when or you could actually maybe highlight all the errors and get the students maybe to type this up themselves and correct all the errors so that you can check that they've all worked out exactly what the problems were. So that's a nice straightforward one. The last one I've got here is using the gallery again. Dell Interwrite Software is American based, therefore if you're using any of the English activities I would suggest that you do check them, and if there's one that has the American spelling, either don't use that or explain to the students what might have been wrong. But these are again in the gallery and it's interactive, so what we could do is we've got a sentence here and there's two words missing, and what it wants us to do is drag them to there and it will tell us if we've got them right or wrong. So let's try loquacious, click, okay, and this time it's happy with our answers there. and there would be a lot of discussion as to why couldn't I use this word, why couldn't I use that, and then the arrow gives us another one to actually work on. So because she was able to read at an early age, her parents often referred to her as there. So is it precocious? Hey, okay, so we've got lots of questions like that. I'll show you how I created that one. Blank page. We'll go to the gallery of tools again. Interwrite Sims again, because these are the simulations, they're the ones with the activities. Language and arts. And in this case, there aren't quite as many of these as there were for the maths. They obviously went into maths in a big way. So this was the sentence completion one. So just drag it here. And there you are, we've got that activity ready to use. So that was nice and straightforward. So if you can use a gallery of tools, that's often much quicker, but again, creating your own little tasks is very easy, just copying in from Word documents, using text boxes, using shapes, and then your imagination can build in the rest.